So all right, guys, this was requested by Ray Burr, like I said earlier. 3 disturbing true Halloween horror stories. This was actually just uploaded by Mr. Nightmare earlier today. So this is going to be the first reaction for the stream. 3 disturbing true Halloween horror stories by the one and only Mr. Nightmare, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's check her out. Halloween mask. Story 1 by Angelo Spato.
It was Halloween weekend. It was falling on a Saturday this year. My mom always takes decorations and giving out candy very seriously. It's almost like she has to compete with the neighbors to have the most sought-after house to trick-or-treat at. We live on a corner in a regular suburban neighborhood, so when we're decorating, we also decorate the side yard of the house too. Since Halloween was a Saturday this year, kids started trick-or-treating earlier in the day. However, it was a cloudy, cold day, and there was a chance of rain in the forecast.
Sorry to pause the video already, guys, but you know what I just thought of? Something weird, at least in the area where I live, the town that I live in. This has never happened before. This has never happened before, but Halloween trick-or-treating for kids in the town I live in is not on October 31st. The city I live in changed the date to October 27th or 28th. I didn't know that was allowed, that the city or the town that you live in can just change the date for trick-or-treating. I'm me growing up, I always trick-or-treated October 31st on Halloween. And now this year, the town I live in, they're like, oh no, we're doing trick-or-treating a couple days before on the 28th or the 27th. I think that's kind of dumb. Apparently this happens in other places too, but I didn't know the city or town you live in could just change the date for trick-or-treating. That's kind of weird. It's not in a few towns around here. They changed it to Sunday, so apparently where Poshy lives as well, which isn't too terribly far from the town I live in, they changed the day of trick-or-treating there as well. Do you guys think that's kind of dumb? I feel like it should be on October 31st, Halloween. Why are they changing the day of trick-or-treating? It doesn't make any sense to me. I seen a sign around here for October 28th, I think. So it looks like there's a couple other people in the chat where they live that trick-or-treating is not on the 31st. It's on some other random day. For me, it's on Friday. I don't know. Sorry, guys. That little side note, I just remembered that. And I'm like, what the heck?
My mom apparently couldn't understand that this may have been a factor as to why there weren't many trick-or-treaters out. Instead, after a few trick-or-treaters seemingly—
Wait, I'm going to restart this because I missed the intro part. Sorry.
This year. It was Halloween weekend. It was falling on a Saturday this year. My mom always takes decorations and giving out candy very seriously. It's almost like she has to compete with the neighbors to have the most sought-after house to trick-or-treat at. We live on a corner in a regular suburban neighborhood, so when we're decorating, we also decorate the side yard of the house too. Since Halloween was a Saturday this year, kids started trick-or-treating earlier in the day. However, it was a cloudy, cold day, and there was a chance of rain in the forecast. My mom apparently couldn't understand that this may have been a factor as to why there weren't many trick-or-treaters out. Instead, after a few trick-or-treaters—
Oh, that sucks. I remember there were a couple Halloweens me growing up when I was younger where it was abnormally cold for October 31st. A lot colder than normal. And if it's rainy out, yeah, if there's a heavy rain downpour, I don't think many kids are going to be running around in the 40-degree weather when it's raining trick-or-treating.
Seemingly skipped our house. She assumed it was because there weren't enough decorations out to attract the trick-or-treaters.
Damn, this kid's mom seems pretty serious. She was all worried if she's like, the reason trick-or-treaters didn't come is because I didn't put up enough decorations. Yeah, I don't think that's true.
She told me to go get whatever containers were left in the attic containing decorations. I insisted this wasn't necessary, but she insisted otherwise and forced me to. So I went up to the attic, which is...
Wait, what, Mr. Baker? R.I.P. to brother Frank TV. Franco? Are you talking Franco TV? Or are you talking about the paranormal investigator? Or are you talking about somebody else? Frank TV. That name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if you're talking about the person I'm thinking of or someone else.
Directly above my bedroom. The attic door is in the hallway upstairs. I pulled down the door and climbed up the ladder. We have the holiday containers sorted a specific way, so I went over to where the Halloween containers were.
Oh my gosh, Posh, you said you remember one year you had to trick-or-treat in snowsuits? Oh my gosh.
A couple still left up there. I opened one to see what was inside, and said good enough. I started dragging the container out towards the attic door, then I carefully slid the container down the ladder. As I was about to climb down out of the attic, I thought I heard something on the opposite side of the attic, like a piece of wood cracking under the weight or pressure of something. I looked over to the wall of containers in the far corner. It's an attic though. The sound of wood snapping or cracking really wasn't that weird. I climbed down out of...
Hey guys, we're going to have to talk about this a little more after I do this reaction because it's kind of hard to focus and read the chat. But Frank TV, you guys are going to have to tell me in a little bit when I'm done with this reaction what the hell happened. You guys keep saying RIP in the chat. I'll have to look that up when I'm done watching this.
The attic and brought the decorations downstairs. From there, my mom and I put out some more decorations in the front yard. It was really windy and felt like rain at any second.
Oh gosh.
There really weren't many trick-or-treaters at all. My mom was disappointed because she goes all out with the candy too. She's always been one of those people who makes a bunch of homemade goodie bags with a bunch of different candies inside. I could see how upset she was that she wasn't going to give most of them away at this rate.
Oh.
The day progressed, and
his
I was in my
mom
room
really
playing
liked
video games
Halloween
on my laptop, while my mom was downstairs in the living room and kitchen handing out candies to the few trick-or-treaters that would come. And then it started to rain, and that pretty much put a damper on the rest of the day.
That freaking sucks, especially as a kid. You'd be so excited to go out and fill up your bag with candy, and then it starts freaking raining. Or Poshy said one Halloween when she was growing up, she had to put on a snowsuit. Can you imagine freaking snow on Halloween? That'd be freaking dumb.
Trick-or-treaters wise, I was gaming in my room when I heard a crack from above my room, in the attic. Again, not really abnormal, but I made a mental note that was the second time I heard something from up there. A creak in the attic?
What?
The rest of the day was rainy, and that night it turned into a thunderstorm, perfect for Halloween night. I used to be a big gamer in my teens, and so instead of going out with friends on a Saturday night, I would often just stay in playing video games, unfortunately. This night was no exception to that. I stayed up really late into the night, past my parents. It was still raining outside. Then I heard something...
Hey, it's easy when you're gaming to stay up when everyone else is in bed and you stay up gaming. That's very easy. Hey, Underground, no problem, bro. Just sit back and enjoy the stream. You don't have to type and talk in the chat constantly. Just hang out and chill, bro. Thanks for the support, man.
Above me again. This time it sounded like footsteps. I was wondering...
That's a badass gaming setup. I need a setup like that.
If my mom was in the attic putting stuff away, but it was late at night. I sat and listened for a while. The sound stopped. I paused my game and went out into the hallway after a couple minutes, and I saw the attic door was open. I now heard noises from downstairs in the kitchen. I heard the sound of...
Did someone frickin' sneak up in the attic? Oh gosh. Viper, I have a pumpkin spice candle burning. It fits the vibe, LOL. Nice, bro. That's definitely a vibe there, a pumpkin spice candle. You know what? I need a pumpkin candle here in my office. I need a pumpkin candle here while I'm streaming.
Sorry if I don't talk much, Dave. Hope it's cool. Praying gesture.
That'd be a good idea, especially when I'm doing these scary reaction streams. I need a pumpkin spice candle that fit the vibe well.
Of things being moved around in the fridge. My heart was racing now. I tiptoed down the hall to my parents' room and quietly opened the door. When I saw both my parents fast asleep in bed, I felt my stomach twist and I felt sick. I quietly closed the door and went up to my dad to shake him awake. He woke up easily, and I whispered to him, "There's someone in the house." He immediately sat up and said, "What?" I said, "There's someone in the kitchen right now in the fridge. I think they're hiding in the attic."
Oh,
my dad is not
no.
a large or confrontational man. He keeps a police baton under his bed in the case of an emergency, but I don't think he ever thought he'd have to actually use it. My dad told me
A police baton? I'd rather have a baseball bat. Or something else. A police baton. What's that going to do? You're going to whack someone to death?
to stay quiet. He went to go look out into the hall quietly. When he came back inside, he whispered that he saw someone down the hall climbing into the attic. He shut the bedroom door
cryptic.
and he locked it and then called 911. By now, my mom was awake too, but we all stayed as quiet as possible and didn't freak out. It was now a waiting game until the police showed up. My dad went downstairs to open the front door.
Who the hell would be up in the attic? The mom was all excited about the, Halloween and the trick-or-treaters coming, and then it started freaking raining. So then the mom's all depressed because no trick-or-treaters came because of the rain. And now this dude keeps hearing knocking noises up in the freaking attic. Who the hell's up there?
The attic door was now shut. The police had to go inside.
God.
They found some homeless-looking man hiding in the corner behind that wall of containers.
I'm not trying to sound mean. Why is it always some homeless person? It's two things in these stories. It's some crazy person who escaped a mental hospital or a freaking mental asylum they escaped, or it's some freaking homeless person. It's sad. It's sad in America or anywhere that there's homeless people, that they don't have money, they don't have somewhere to live. But why is it always some mental patient or a homeless person up in these freaking attics? It's one of the two always.
The sounds I was hearing were in fact from a person the whole time. The man, while seeming dirty and kind of scary looking, apparently was very straightforward and honest.
Did you guys see the text at the bottom? It said actual photo. This was the photo submitted to Mr. Nightmare from this person. Gee, there's just a blanket up there. Oh, that's creepy. Imagine finding out that for God knows how long someone's been either in your basement or living up in your attic and you don't freaking know. Be like, how long has this person been up living in my freaking attic?
That he simply walked in when he saw the front door was
what's
open
up,
the
Hank?
day before, and he had no place to sleep. He brought one of our blankets up there.
Oh, so it's just the day before. So he was only there one night or day and a half. At least he wasn't there for a freaking month.
And there was a jar of peanut butter up there too that he was eating. The whole thing is still very disturbing, and I wonder how things would have played out if I or my father confronted the man instead of the police. My parents didn't press any charges.
What would you guys do here? I'm sorry. What would you guys do here? He just said his parents didn't press any charges. I think if someone broke into my house and they were living up in my attic, I would want to press charges for breaking into my house. Because if there was no charges pressed, I don't think the person probably went to jail. And then they could sneak back in or go sneak into someone else's house. I think they need to go to jail for a little bit. If they're homeless, jail would probably be better. Then they'd have somewhere to live and they'd have food to eat at least. Imagine getting ice cream and bumping into them underground. I bet you there's horror stories like that, bro. Where people ran into someone. That peanut butter. That peanut butter jar had to have came from their kitchen. The homeless dude probably snuck down there in the middle of the night and grabbed a jar of peanut butter. Oh my gosh. Story 2.
I threw a house party at my parents' house for Halloween. It was closed invite, meaning I told people not to bring strangers. That was a rule my parents gave me. They were not at the house that weekend, which was why I was able to throw the party.
Nope. I've heard stories like this before. It never ends well. Never ends well. My parents were out of town for the weekend. I decided to throw a Halloween party. There's always some creeper who sneaks into your house who was not invited. And then later that night, you're in bed. They're in the freaking attic or the basement or God knows where in the house. I already know where this story's going. There's going to be someone in the house who wasn't invited and then they disappear, hiding in the house or some crap.
With another rule being the place needed to be even cleaner than it was before the party.
Smiley face.
I invited around 50 people and probably around 40 ended up showing up. The party started around 6. It was starting to get dark out. It would be partially in the backyard and partially the first floor. My parents left me money for refreshments like sodas and food to leave in the kitchen for people to take. I told my parents it would be a non-alcoholic party, but I think they knew that was a load of shit. My friend who's a few years older than me brought his DJ equipment to DJ, and the party was in full swing by dark. Everyone seemed to listen and not bring strangers, because I recognized everyone. Just about everyone came up to me and greeted me after entering. I didn't drink too much because it was my party and I wanted to be somewhat responsible, but everyone else was getting drunker the later the night went.
Oh,
Eventually,
great.
one of my friends came out of the house after getting food, and he asked who that guy in the skeleton bodysuit inside the house was.
Skeleton bodysuit? What the frick?
I didn't recall seeing anyone in a bodysuit costume, so I went inside the house, where there were a few people hanging out in the kitchen. I asked if they saw someone wearing a skeleton bodysuit.
What's up, Yoshi?
Someone
How you
told me,
doing, bro?
It seemed like he was snooping around the house. I grew concerned.
What the hell? Literally. I've gone to Halloween parties before, but I've never had a devil-themed one. I don't like this picture. If I walked into a Halloween party and there was like a skull-looking devil thing on the wall and flames, I'd be like, I like Halloween, but I don't want to go to a party with the devil and freaking demons or something.
When I heard this, and I asked if anyone invited him or knew who it was. No one inside knew him. I looked around the house and then found him. He was walking down the stairs. I asked, "Who are you?" And he said, "Mike. I was using the bathroom."
Yeah, underground. I'm like, I like Halloween parties when there's pumpkins and shit, but there's like pentagrams and devils on the wall. I'm out of this place. I'm not about to get my ass sacrificed at this freaking Halloween party.
Upstairs.
I'm not getting sacrificed tonight,
He
buddy.
sounded older. His frame was also a bit larger. Not like muscular, just a stockier looking build. I asked who invited you, and he said Tom. I didn't know a single Tom, so I asked who's Tom. Then I just asked him if he could take his mask off. He didn't listen or even respond. He just walked past me towards the front door.
He said,
and
"Who's
left.
Tom?" Yeah, who the hell
I
is
ran
Tom?
upstairs to check if any of the rooms had been gone through, and if anything had been stolen. All the doors upstairs, except for the bathroom door, were closed.
That would be my biggest fear hosting a party. You know, you say no strangers, but you always have a friend to come to a party who they bring a friend and that friend brings another friend. And then before you know it, there's people there you don't know. That would be my biggest fear. Shit getting stolen. Because there's 20, 30, however many people at a party. You can't watch everybody at once. Next thing you know, your freaking nice watch is missing. Your PlayStation 5's gone out of your room. The TV's missing. Like, what the hell happened?
And after a quick look, it seemed nothing was stolen. So I went to lock the front door, and then I told a bunch of my friends about how weird that just was.
Heck yeah,
I
Z-Man.
went outside to ask a few friends if they knew who invited the skeleton guy, and not a single person knew who it was. Eventually, I gave it a rest.
What?
The party was winding down around
Where
midnight.
did this dude come
Most
from?
people were starting to leave. A few close friends stayed behind a little later to help clean up. After all was said and done, it was a successful party. When everyone was gone, I started getting ready for bed. One of my friends, Vinny, stayed over on the couch downstairs. After brushing my teeth and changing into pajamas,
I'm not gonna lie, that looks like a cozy room right there. That's a big ass couch. Got some little pumpkins in the room. You got a little radio, a nice little lamp. That'd be a nice chill place to hang out.
I decided to go hang out with Vinny in the living room for a while. We had some drinks and just watched funny YouTube videos on TV. My little sister, who was 14, was asleep by now. She didn't hang outside with the party because she was too young. We were being quiet so as not to wake her. But when Vinny and I both heard noises from upstairs, it seemed that we woke her up.
Oh
I was
no.
expecting the sounds, which sounded like footsteps, to move to the bathroom or something. I got a little confused when I never heard my sister's door open. I decided to go upstairs just to check on her. I knocked on her door and she didn't answer. I opened it a crack and saw that she was sleeping. So what were those sounds I was hearing then? I went to my parents' room.
It's Mr. Tom. It's the skeleton man. Oh, great. He's in the house. He's hiding somewhere.
And realized the door wasn't clicked shut. I was able to just push it open without twisting the doorknob, which was odd. Because
skeleton
I made
dude
sure
is
their
back.
Door was closed before the party.
You're right, Yoshi.
I looked inside the room without turning on the lights. Then, as I backed out of the room, I looked through the
this
crack
is
of the door,
creepy,
and
guys.
on the other side, I saw that guy in the skeleton bodysuit.
Oh,
I made no
knew
mistake.
it.
I knew what I was looking at.
I knew it.
I'm impressed with myself for not
Beat
running
him
or
up.
screaming.
Right,
I
Darian?
pretended I didn't see him and pulled the door closed. Then I went downstairs and told Vinny that the guy from before is in the house.
You imagine if this was Angry Grandpa's house and the skeleton guy snuck into Angry Grandpa's house? You gotta get out of my house right now. Get out of my house right now. Angry Grandpa beats him up. You get out of my goddamn house right now.
I had him call 911 and tell them that there's an intruder in the house, while I tiptoed back upstairs to my sister's room, went inside, and shook her to wake her up. I explained to her what was going on and made sure she would be quiet while following me downstairs. She did a good job not freaking out either.
I don't met with no goddamn skeleton. You get out of my goddamn house right now.
In the kitchen by the back door.
You're not welcome here, you son of a bitch.
Then we cut through the side to the front and went to our neighbor's house, ringing the bell at least 3 times.
Have a good night, Ben.
Our neighbor let us wait with him for the police. But at some point before the police got there, that guy escaped through our parents' bedroom window.
Oh my god.
I know, because the window was now open. Their closet door was also
Guys,
open.
why 90% of the time in these stories does the freaking creeper hiding in the house escape? Like, oh, the police are on the way. Oh, the guy ran away and he never got caught. He's probably off breaking into other people's houses now. Gosh dang.
And where my dad keeps his safe, it's as if it were someone who knew about the safe being there that tried breaking into it or just taking the whole safe out from the floor.
Oh.
It was obvious how the man broke in. He simply just walked into the party again. It could have been any number of people, though. We never found out who it was. But it was someone who knew I was having...
Yeah, that's a Halloween party I'm not going to. Here's a full view. Got the devil. You got this big white table for the freaking sacrifices. Yeah, I'm not going to that Halloween party. But guys, like I said earlier, I've never hosted a Halloween party. I've gone to some parties like at friends' houses, but this is why I'm not going to have a party at my house, because some random person can just walk into your house. If there's a lot of people, someone can sneak in and you're not going to know, especially if they're wearing a mask. If someone's wearing a mask or a costume, you're not going to know who it is if there's 20, 30 people. And then they're trying to rob your shit, rob stuff out of your house. This is why I don't have parties at my house.
Having a party, someone older, and someone who knew about my parents' safe. My sister ended up telling our parents about it, and obviously that was the last party I was ever allowed to throw at their house.
Yeah, right. The last statement was, that was the last party I was allowed to have at my house. Yeah, no shit. The parents were like, yeah, you're not going to have any more parties here. I think it's best if you go to a friend's house or go somewhere else.
This happened in 2016, when I was 15. This would be my last year trick-or-treating on
Good
Halloween,
idea, Sister Wolf.
so I wanted to make it a big occasion.
Give the
My mom is
robber a
pretty laid
wedgie.
back, so it turned into a huge multi-day thing for me. The day before Halloween, I would have a sleepover with my friends Davis and Zach, skip school the next day on Halloween, trick-or-treat with Davis and Zach, and then have a sleepover with just my girlfriend Amber and I.
Do you know some Christians don't do Halloween? Yeah, Ryan, I do. You know, I grew up going to church, and there were some like any religion, there's different levels. You know, some Christians and people who go to church are okay with Halloween, and there's some Christians who don't do Halloween. I mean, if you think about it, Halloween is kind of based around, I think it's like All Hallows Eve. If you look at the history of Halloween and stuff going back hundreds of years, there were some weird stuff. Like, I don't know the full history of Halloween, but it's the history is a little darker than just trick or treating like we do nowadays. I'm not into all like there's some people really into Halloween who probably do a bunch of weird stuff. I'm not into all that, but I just take my kids trick or treating for fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but yeah, I know I know some people or some families growing up who they didn't let their kids trick or treat because they thought it was, the devil's holiday, but different people have different beliefs and stuff. So it is what it is,
This story carries into both nights, so I'll try to explain the best I can. My basement had just gotten renovated into a man cave.
Yeah, DW, that's what I said.
Obviously, my friends and I wanted to stay down there for the night. The basement had a long hallway right to the man cave. The light switch to the hallway didn't work. It had a pretty creepy...
Hey guys, we have a problem. There's 70 people watching the stream and we only have 38 likes on the stream. If you haven't yet, hit the like button. All right, back to the video.
Vibe, but for tonight, that would be a good thing. My mom made us cookies and then we went down into the cave. It was around 11 p.m.
That's a nice man cave.
We had just finished watching the original Scream. Our second movie of the night would be Paranormal Activity, which none of us had watched before.
Oh,
that's
gosh.
why I picked it.
That's a scary
I
movie.
remember pausing the movie not even 30 seconds in because of the motion-detected light in the backyard turning on.
Oh, gosh.
It lit the whole room up, ruining the creepy vibe we had going. So I waited for the 30-second timer so it would turn off, and then unpause the movie. Then after about another 30 seconds, the light went off for a second time, and I started getting annoyed. Davis asked me what kept making it turn on, and I said I had no clue. 30 more seconds.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit sus, guys. You start watching a scary movie and then all of a sudden your motion activated light outside keeps going on and you're like, what's causing the light outside to keep going on and off? That would make me a little paranoid, especially if you're watching a scary movie. You always get a little more on edge or paranoid when you're watching a scary movie.
Passed by and the light turned off again, and I played the movie again. It was at this point I wanted to know what the hell was going on.
Could be a cat,
so
Randy,
I asked
maybe.
For Davis and Zach to come upstairs with me so I could see what it was. They agreed and went up the stairs to look through my back door. By the time we got there, the light in the backyard had turned off, so it was hard to see. We stood for 5 minutes waiting for something to happen, but nothing ever did. We went back down to the den and decided to turn off the movie for the night and just sit on our phones and talk. We weren't really invested in it anyway. About 2 hours later, everyone was
They did not like the movie. They turned it off.
asleep except for me. I was just scrolling on my phone when the familiar glow of the motion light came through the window for now the 4th time. I was exhausted though, and so I figured it was just another group of kids trying to prank us or something. But the more I thought about it, the less it made sense. I figured I would check the backyard one last time, and just like I thought would happen, no one was out there. I gave up, so I went back down to the den and called it a night. The next night came in the blink of an eye. The next thing I knew, I had a bag full of candy. I felt kind of sad. In a way, this was...
Candy's always good, but yeah, it's sad. It's his last time trick-or-treating.
like my childhood ending. However, I figured I should just try and enjoy the night and not reminisce.
You know what, guys? That's not fair. When you hit a certain age, it's like, look down upon if you go trick-or-treating. I'm a full-grown man. If I want to go trick-or-treating, why can't I? Why can't I get a bag and go out trick-or-treating? I like candy. I'm not a kid, but I still like candy. You know what? They should make a day for kids trick-or-treating and a separate day for adults to go trick-or-treating. That's not fair. Just because I'm not a little kid anymore doesn't mean I don't want to go trick-or-treating. There needs to be a separate day for adults to go trick-or-treating. I think that would be fair.
At this point, I still had lingering thoughts about the previous night, whether I should tell Amber or not. She was scared of everything,
Clarissa says I agree.
and I didn't want to ruin a night with her over a story. We were at one of our last houses on the route we took, when Amber let out a loud yell in pain.
I know, Underground.
We asked what happened, and then she told us that she had a rock thrown at her.
A rock thrown at her?
Some guy
What?
in a clown mask standing around 15 feet behind us.
Oh, God, not the clowns. Not the clowns. Here we go. A guy in a clown mask threw a frickin' rock at her. Oh.
This was amid the clown epidemic. I told him to get lost.
Oh, great. So this was like 2016. This was around the clown epidemic. Freaking crazy people in clown costumes. Oh, great.
Stood there. I analyzed him a bit more and realized this guy looked like a grown man. He only had a clown mask on also. The rest of his quote-unquote costume was just normal clothes.
Oh.
We kept walking, but all the man did was stand there. It was at this point we called it a night and skipped the last few houses out of anxiety. We went back to my house so my friends could get picked up. And just like that, it was just my girlfriend and I looking at Candy on the floor in the den. She asked if we could watch a movie, and so I decided that I would just turn on Paranormal Activity again.
Is it just me, guys, or is this picture here of this front room? It's kind of creepy, but it's low-key, like, looks cozy. Like, the outside's all foggy and the pumpkin in the house and stuff. This picture looks a little creepy, but it low-key looks cozy. I'd watch some scary movies there. That'd be fun.
Later that night to finish it. I remember the scene in the movie perfectly. It was Mika walking around to find his girlfriend when suddenly the screen went black and the dimmed lights in the cave turned off. My girlfriend and I looked at each other. I realized the power went out. This immediately made me start.
Don't tell me that freaking guy with the clown mask on followed them home. The power went out? That means that someone, if there wasn't like a thunderstorm or going on, someone cut the power to your freaking house. Oh, don't tell me that freaking guy in the clown mask followed them home.
Start to get paranoid. The power had never gone out in this house unless there was a storm. I checked my weather app and it said it was normal conditions that night, not even a little bit of rain. I told Amber to stay in the cave.
Yeah, there was no
but
rain.
She felt scared down there.
It wasn't a
she decided
storm.
To come upstairs with me to see what was going on. The generator to the house was in the backyard, and that's when I got the terrible feeling in my stomach. The thoughts of last night creeping back to me, and this time I didn't have Davis and Zach with me, and Amber wasn't very strong. All the worst thoughts came to my mind as I opened the sliding door to the backyard. All I heard was crickets chirping, and I figured that maybe I was just overthinking. Amber and I passed by the motion light, which didn't kick on now. I was about 5 feet from the generator when I thought I heard a twig snap. Amber and I looked
Underground, always trust your gut. For sure.
Towards the forest on the far side of the yard with the only sounds being crickets. But we felt like we were being watched. I almost felt like I had to throw up.
Oh no.
I decided we'd rather stay in the house with no lights.
Someone's in the
out here.
Freaking woods
I didn't
watching
want to be outside
them
any longer. Amber started making her way inside. And that's when I saw him. The same guy in a clown mask, standing to the side of my shed.
I knew it. I freaking knew it.
For a while, like he was trying to scare us. And then he suddenly jumped forward and started sprinting at us.
What?
I ran to the back door and slammed it shut after Amber.
You better call the police.
We ran down into the cave, and we got behind the bar in the corner of the room. That's when I realized I never locked the back door, and we heard a slam from upstairs.
Oh, you freaking idiot. I'm sorry. The first thing I would do is lock the frickin' door. You ran into the basement and didn't lock the frickin' door? Are you dumb? Lock the door, call the police. It's very simple.
Stairs. Now everything was silent in the man cave.
Oh my God,
Amber started
bro.
texting 911 because she was too scared to talk. She explained that there was a man in the house. Minutes felt like hours. It must have been like 10 minutes tops, and the sound I had been dreading to hear came. The basement door opening. I heard footsteps come down the stairs.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. At first, I thought this was just a guy in a clown mask kind of pulling a prank or trying to be funny, joking around. But now this dude followed them home. This dude in the clown mask. He followed them home. And he's in their house, and now they hear the basement door opening. That's when things have gone a little too far. Things have gone a little too far now.
And down the hallway. My girlfriend was breathing too loud. I had to cover her mouth. I heard footsteps come towards our direction and stop. I was starting to think my only option might be to fight if he finds out where we were. I grabbed a beer bottle from behind the bar and prepared myself mentally to fight if I had to. The room stayed silent for quite a while, but then we heard sirens come from outside. I realized this was the perfect distraction and moment to strike. In a fraction of a second, I got up, ran at him, and swung at his head with the bottle.
What?
I tripped and fell after I swung, and I hit the ground. I looked up to see that man with the clown mask from earlier. I think his mask somewhat blocked my swing because he barely flinched.
Oh,
I realized
no.
This was a stupid idea because it seemed like he was about to go back upstairs after hearing this.
Yeah, if I heard police sirens, that means the guy's probably going to try to leave the house and escape because he doesn't want to be arrested. He ran at him and tried to hit him with a beer bottle or some bottle from the bar. You should have just stayed hiding. If you heard police sirens, that means the police are literally like at your house. I would have stayed hiding.
Sirens anyway. He looked down at me on the floor. I was about to yell at Amber to run as I laid on the floor, scrambling to get up. My legs felt numb, and I realized my life could potentially end right now, but the police could be heard outside. The man stared for another moment before running up the stairs, and then we heard the back door open and slam again. I ran upstairs to let the police in and told them he went out back. And of course you're wondering, the answer is no, the police somehow never caught this guy to my knowledge.
God.
I can't go down to that man cave alone anymore without feeling anxious, even to this day. So we would hang out at Amber's for a while after that.
Oh,
There's nothing I can do but
guys?
look back
Why?
and be grateful that we're still alive. I'll never forget that feeling of looking up and seeing that clown mask staring down at me as I flailed on the ground.
Guys, seriously, why is it like 90% of these stories, the people always escape? The police were literally at the house, and the guy still got away? How did he get away if the police were literally at the house? The police officers should have had one police officer go to the front door, and one or two other police officers go to the side of the house or the back door. He just ran out the back door. He should have been caught by the police. I feel like that's the police officer's fault a little bit. One or two police at the front door, another one or two police at the back door. And then you would have caught his dumb ass. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, that was 3 disturbing true Halloween horror stories by Mr. Nightmare. That was definitely a creepy Mr. Nightmare video, guys.